racism never existed. But because the thing you didn't think about or even embrace was at the same time you was picking cotton along with those black people, the reason why they couldn't share their distaste for the situation because they didn't want to get lynched when they went home at nighttime. They didn't want to be hung by a tree or drugged down the street like the Jim Crow laws put in effect with the race subjugation of black people. So it's like, give me a break. All you're saying is making it worse. Shut your mouth.
So do both of you feel like his actions of having done all this put put us back further, or how do you think that they are affecting our community negatively?
I don't think that, honestly, he said anything that I don't hear every single day. I hear it every
Exactly.
day. I hear it
Right,
every single
right.
day online. I hear it in my personal life occasionally. And, I try not to surround myself with people like that, obviously, but occasionally I've heard it in my personal life. But I hear it all the time. And so he didn't say anything that I haven't heard, and it didn't surprise me at all. And so I don't think he did anything to affect our community except to enrage it and to, outrage that. I don't even know why we're outraged, because like I just said, we hear it every fucking day. So
Yeah,
and why we're surprised, I'm not. So
Yeah, I wasn't outraged at all.
I'm
My
outraged at the
outrage
fact
came
that he thinks it's okay to say that, is what I mean. You know what I mean? Why is
exactly.
it in his mind it's okay for him to say that gays are going to hell and whatever he said?
But the thing is, it is for me. It's okay for you to say that, but it's okay for somebody to not agree with you and you lost your job because of it. My biggest outrage was because the public outcry about the whole freedom of speech thing. That's where my rage is. Like, you guys, why are y'all feeding into this? Like Donovan said, this isn't new. We hear this all the time. We're faced with this every day of our lives
Oh
in
yeah,
some format, whether it's online, whether it's on
yeah.
in any form of media. We're faced with this every day of our lives. Him just saying it, in which my thing, I'm proud that you are staunch in your convictions. Knock it on out. You're leading people down a path of unrighteousness. But that's you. I can't tell you what to say. But the American populace and the majority, it seems like, who's getting behind his free speech, you don't know what you're talking about because his freedom of speech wasn't taken away from him.
But it's not. But in your opinion, it's not being taken away by his suspension by A&D.
How? No, he still can say whatever he wants to say. The venue
Well,
is
I'm
gone, but
I'm
his mouth
just
is still
making it
there.
very clear, David, and I mean, you're saying the same thing I think. I mean,
Yeah.
but they were paying him something like $200,000 an episode.
Are they getting
Not
that much money?
he was reportedly that's how much he makes an episode. Well, I wonder if that will stop while during his suspension.
He's probably under contract. I doubt it.
Well, now there is some kind of speculation by myself. I have a question for him, which is, does it have anything to do with several comments he's made recently about wanting the show to be over with? Because he has made several comments, and even one in this article about the fact that it's not going to last forever. It's a scripted reality television show. It can't last forever. It's basically what he said. And then in other interviews prior to this, I really can't help but think it was his best shot at getting kicked off. I think that it was more planned than anything else.
Why
I
would he
think
want
it's
to
just
get
as
off the
planned as
show?
he hates it. He says that he's ready with his family. He doesn't care when when all the cameras are all gone and done. He will have done it the Phil Robertson way and will be happy he had done so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'm not going to be upset like the majority is all upset about him losing his job. This man was rich before A&E even approached them.
Absolutely.
These people were millionaires.
Yeah.
Ask them for $1 and then see how much support you get from them.
Those nasty looking things are millionaires, really?
Oh yes,
Millionaires.
don't judge a book by its cover.
They're
Well, that just means they're
loaded.
ignorant morons to look like that, dress like that, act like that, think like that, and still have all that fucking money. They're morons.
Hey, I won't listen. I've worn some questionable things in my day. I will not judge anybody for the way they look.
Oh, I will every day.
I won't judge that, but I will say that I did not expect anything less, and I'm more shocked that we even care. I'm like,
It's
who
not that
cares?
we care. It's just that it's a hot topic, so we're talking
I
about
mean,
it.
It's a
but
hot
social media has gone mad today, fellas. You
Well,
have to
that's
admit.
why though, Ken. It's because people. I don't know why, But there are so many people who love that fucking show. I don't know why. I've never seen it. I don't know what it's about. I really honestly don't know a thing about it. But I always hear people talking about, oh, Duck Dynasty, oh, I love that show. People you would never think in a million years would watch it do. So people are invested in it. Like if somebody wanted to say something about Scandal or some show I watch on TV or Coven or something, I'd be invested in it. So I think it's because these people are invested in this show. And I think a lot of them are bigots just like them, and a lot of them aren't. And so I think half of them are outraged, or both sides are outraged for different reasons. So,
do you think that this will greatly reduce the number of viewers or the followers to the
I don't think
show?
a lot of gay people watch that show anyway. Maybe they do, but I doubt it.
Uncle Si, and I will say I have watched the show. There's a character on there named Uncle Si, and he's delightful. He's funny. He's he's played.
Cute.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness! No,
he's not cute. Oh no!
Oh no! Sorry, David. That wasn't even geared toward me, and I was like, "No, ma'am, shut up."
But I'm thinking back in the day he might have been something special.
Well, it ain't back in the day anymore.
David.
No, but there is one brother that's really, really cute to me because it's just the way he talks, the way
David's
he looks.
got a thing for bears, so
I do.
That explains it.
But you know what? When the beard's that long.
Yeah,
it gets a little stinky, and I can't have all that. For right now in the bear gay community, I'm sure some of the bears watch the show because they can identify with the look. But but for some reason, some of the bears are growing these crazy, outrageous long beards, and they think that's sexy. It's sexy for someone. It's just not for me. I just like
the short cropped one. If you're gonna be a bear,
yeah, I like a little crop, but it can be long, but it needs to be well
and groomed. Yeah,
exactly. But right now I'm looking pretty bearish, really bearish today. I haven't shaved in like 3 days. I'm looking a mess. If you guys could see me right now, it's not cute.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
I doubt that. I love you. Okay,
believe it.
Here's the thing. We've talked about Duck Dynasty and all that, and we're done with it. This panel question I'd like to start off with is, what is the most embarrassing thing you have ever said on a date? And I'd like to pose that to David first.
Why me?
Because I think that there's something there.
I don't date a lot, but the most embarrassing thing that I've ever, I wouldn't say most embarrassing thing that I've ever said. That's really hard because I've said some horrible. My things are more mean, not embarrassing. Because everything that I say, I'm really not embarrassed about anything I say. It just kind of comes out and it's like, oh well. Because I'm a bitch and everything, but
you must have said something really terrible, or you wouldn't be leading up to it or dodging it this way.
well, I have. When you, but see, I don't want people to think that I'm some kind of online internet whore. That
Donovan, do you agree that he's tiptoed around you're beating the bush?
That goes on like Adam for Adam and searches for guys and stuff. Well, I guess I kind of do that sometimes, but anyhow, one time I met, I guess it was on it was on Grindr, I think, Growler. It was on Growler, and we had planned, and I actually talked about this a long time ago on one of my older shows. We had planned to meet at one of my favorite restaurants because it was both local, centralized for both of us, and so I get there, and I always go early so you can kind of stand in the corner and watch, see if you can see the person. But he must have been thinking the same thing because he got there before I did, and I'm like, damn. Well, before I got to that point, so I'm walking around because there's like a little area where it's like other shops, but they're all closed, and the restaurant's in the front of the building. And so I'm kind of walking around, and then I kind of stop. I'm like looking at my phone or whatever, see what time it is, and I heard somebody say David. So I turned around, and it was a person that I didn't recognize. I said, yeah, and he's like, oh, it's blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, really? And that's probably most the embarrassing thing that I've said because when he told me who he was, the picture didn't match the face. And so I was like, oh, really? And I said it like that. And he was like, yeah. I'm like, oh. We need to go get a seat. I didn't ditch because I've been known to ditch. I'm like, let's go have a seat. Because the conversation we had, he was still nice. But, after you lie to me about how you look and send me a fake picture. Hold on 1 second, everybody.
Uh-oh. So what's your answer, Ken?
Oh, well, My first answer, well, my answer to that question is that years ago, I once invited, so, okay, it was a blind date and it was a first date kind of thing, but we
Mm-hmm.
had talked over the telephone and things, and he was going to come over to my house for the first meeting. And I invited him over to watch a movie. And I didn't know it at the time, but apparently, come over and watch a movie
It's a
means oral
euphemism.
sex. Yeah, it's for oral sex or something. I didn't know that at the time. And I had just become single and all this. So I'm learning all these things. So the guy comes over and we watched a movie. And I, of course, not knowing that it was about oral sex, I had no idea that I was supposed to be participating in it. And he didn't really make moves up until just before he left. He said, he said, "Well, I really enjoyed watching that movie." And I said, "Well, thanks for coming over." And I went to kiss him and kind of, nothing major, just like a peck and a hug thing. And he said, "Boy, you sure have DSL."
I've heard that many
And
times.
I had no idea what it meant. I thought I thought he was talking about internet. So,
Wait a minute,
so
did I miss something? What's DSL?
Dick sucking lips.
yes.
Oh,
Okay.
kumbaya.
So he says to me, "Oh boy, you got DSL," and I'm like, "No, the guy hasn't come yet to hook it up."
Oh, that's hilarious.
And he was like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "The internet." And he's like, "It's got nothing to do with that." I'm like, "Well, then what are you talking about?" And so he tells me, I'm like, "Oh, no, no, that's not going to happen. No, no, that's totally not what's going to happen here. Sorry that I may have misled you by asking you to come over and watch a movie. And by, not knowing what DSL meant, I do apologize, but you must leave." It was a good day. It was a good day. Donovan, how about you?
Oh my god, I'm racking my brain trying to think of something embarrassing. I really can't think of anything. The only thing that comes to my mind is, and it's not even really embarrassing as much as it is just, I don't know what it is. It's not embarrassing, but I was on a date with this guy named Dylan when I was like 20 something, I don't know, 24 maybe, and we had a mutual friend that we met through at a party, and he told me at the bar once, he said that he's totally into me, whatever. And so, okay, great. So we're going out. He said, "We want to go out sometime." I said, "Sure." And so we end up going out on our first date together. And we'd hung out several times before with other friends or whatever. And so we're on our date. But every time he'd just broken up with this guy named Darby, he'd been with for a long time, and they'd just been dating, but not married or anything. But anyway, and so Darby is around our circle as well. And so every time we were around, he was always talking about Darby, Darby this, Darby that, da da da. And so it got really frustrating. I was like, obviously, this guy's not ready for a relationship. So I was at dinner with him on that date, and I'm sitting across from him, and he's talking blah, 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 talking about Darby again. And I'm just like, I go, "Why am I here like that?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Oh, well, I guess that's a good question." And he starts talking about like existentialism, like why are we here? Like, why are we human beings here? Why do we exist? I'm like, no, I mean, why am I here listening to you talk about your stupid ex-boyfriend I don't give a shit about? And he's like, and so everybody, I said it really loud, so everybody turned around and started looking at us in the restaurant. And he's like, "Oh, be quiet. Everybody's looking." I was like, "Well, every time I go out with you, you talk about your stupid ex-boyfriend. I'm really tired of it." And it's like, "Why am I here? Do you want to fuck or not?" And so I said that to him, and and so he got really red in the face and everything else. And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, let's go." And so we went and had sex. And that was it. That's the end of the story. That's it.
I love that.
And I'm not usually that forward, but
Yeah.
the guy was so like hung up on his ex. I kind of helped him. I think I did a service.
It was like a public service thing that you did.
Exactly. I helped the guy out, and we dated
You're
for a
you're
while.
nothing if not a caregiver.
So that's the only thing I can think of. That's the only embarrassing thing I've ever said in my whole life
What
on a date.
has anything happened to you guys embarrassing on a date? Has something embarrassing happened to you on a date? You know what? I have a really good one.
Yes,
I should just go ahead and tell you
I
that.
do
No, no,
too.
go ahead, Donovan.
No,
Go ahead,
you go
Don.
ahead. You sure?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
think you should do it.
You want me to go first? Okay.
Yes, yes.
This is really gross, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
I'm muting my microphone. Hold on.
So David, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Oh,
making sure you were still
he's
there.
been a
Okay.
quiet little panda.
I was like,
Okay.
okay. No, I was dating this guy named Tony. I moved in with him. I was 19 years old. It was between semesters at SMU when I was in the summer, and I didn't want to go home, so I moved in with him after we dated for like maybe 6 weeks. It was a really bad idea, but anyway, this big muscly guy, and we ended up dating, whatever. It was great. Anyways, for a while. So one day he always cooked pasta. He liked to carb load, carb loading, because he was always weightlifting and shit. And so I'm like, and so every other night we would have fucking pasta, and so